All right, thank you so much for this wonderful conversation. It was very, very enriching. Yeah, I'm going to work on that now. I would like to call Roman Andermatt from BDO in Switzerland, who is BDO's ICO expert, to talk a little bit about the processes that BDO is facing, how we're facing and answering those challenges. Roman?
So good morning, everybody. Welcome from my side. Today I'm going to talk about ICO processes. We go through a journey of how can we create an ICO. And just to start with, it's all about idea. So let's have an idea first to start our journey. Is there a doctor in here? Is this your handwriting? No, but it is actually a doctor's handwriting. It's a prescription of some medicine. And the pharmacists, sometimes they know what they need to give the patients, and sometimes they don't. So I was Googling for solutions and I found this. But I don't really think it's a good idea to go with it. So I was thinking of maybe we could do a platform where doctors can share prescriptions with pharmacies. So it's a great idea. Now, we need money. How do we get the money? First, we can go to traditional investors like VC, banks, or even your parents. But it's just an idea, so it might be tough to get money from those. So we need to find another way. Let's go with crowdfunding. You can go to a traditional crowdfunding platform, but you might not raise a lot. You can start asking your friends, but either way, you don't collect probably enough money. So you could go with an ICO. And just to go back a step again, before I go to ICOs, I just want to make sure that everyone has the same idea of what I'm talking about when I'm talking about blockchain, cryptocurrency, or token. So a blockchain can serve as a platform for decentralized applications, like the one we would build. So it's like a platform, and additionally, I can raise money with it. So I can organize my funds with the blockchain as a platform. Like if I use Ethereum as a platform, I can go with it. So, and then, if I do an ICO, I create a private currency, like a digital currency, which is issued by a private person, not by a regulator or a government. A token is a single entity, is a single unit of a cryptocurrency. So, what is an ICO? It's initial coin offerings or fundraising on steroids. It's a fundraising tool where investors buy tokens for cryptocurrencies. So I'm having my crowd here, and I do issue tokens with the smart contract, and they're gonna give me money or cryptocurrencies, mostly cryptocurrencies. So to start with an ICO, we first need to ask ourselves, is blockchain the right technology? For our idea, we should ask, is our product a platform? Yes, it is. Do you need trust and privacy on this platform? Yes, you do. Do different parties work with the platform? Yes, you're going to have doctors, you're going to have pharmacies. So, yes. And does your platform add value, which is always the most important question. If you have a new idea, do you really add value to someone? And if you can answer these questions with yes, you can go a step further. Well, no, back to the challenge. So this is really a big challenge, and what we see that a lot of people come and say, I want to do an ICO, and this is my idea, and you just realize it's not really a good idea to work with blockchain. There are better ways to do those ideas. But some ideas, they are really a good fit for an ICO or blockchain. So we go for it. So the second step is it's the team. It's all about the team. It's the most important thing of an ICO, to have a balanced team. You need to have knowledge in the sector. You need to have economic knowledge. You need to have marketing specialists, because remember, it's about an idea. You most of the time you don't have a product available yet. And you need to have technical experts, really understanding how blockchain platform works, how you deal with smart contracts, how you handle all the problems with blockchain. And then you need advisors to give you either deepen knowledge in certain areas, or collect further knowledge of the team. So this is the second challenge. You need to find a balanced team. And then it's about writing the white paper. White paper is like a business plan, but it goes a bit further, because you need to describe how will the platform work. You're going to give a detailed architecture of it. You're going to show what's your market strategy, what is your value proposition, and then you're going to give details about your team and your advisors. And the last point is probably the most important point. You're going to show how your token is going to work, how your smart contract is implemented, so investors know if I'm going to send them Ethereum or other cryptocurrencies, that they know what actually is going to happen. And here comes the third challenge. You need to have enough details to go to the public and to go to the regulator, but you need to be flexible enough to adapt it if something is not compliant with regulators. And step 4 is the regulator. You need to choose a jurisdiction, and it's all about the ruling. It's all about brand awareness and accessibility. If you want to do an ICO, you need to have contact with the regulator. You need to know what they want to have you to be compliant with. So I just have a few examples. If you go to Estonia, for example, if you issue an ICO below 2.5 million, it's not a problem for them. You just do it. You don't have to be compliant with anything. If you go to Switzerland, for example, you need to be you will be examined by the regulator anyway. So keep your books clear. And then you have Malta, you have Singapore. So it's really a question, where do you settle? Because all of this to have ups and downs. And then it's about which blockchain technology am I going to use? Am I going to use Ethereum or Neo or EOS? Those are all questions you need to answer before you settle with a technology. So what is the community behind the technology, behind the platform? How long is the time of successful operation of the platform? So here, clearly Ethereum is the winner, but maybe it's not the future. You never know. So behind the blockchain technology, there's always the topic about cryptographic security and the consensus mechanism. So you really need to put the saddle on the right horse. And then comes the next challenge. If you have the blockchain technology assessed, you need to start thinking about how to secure your funds. So you set up your cold wallet. Next step is the token economy. This is a really important part. The token economy is based on the smart contract, which is dealing with the token goal, token limit, token utility. What is your token actually doing? And then you also need to have the legal confirmation that your token economy really is compliant with the jurisdiction you are going to have the ICO. So regulatory compliance and smart contract auditing are the biggest challenges of this part. So security audits are can be done by professional companies already. They just go through your smart contract and look for all the issues that could happen. And we've seen in the past that the smart contract is really a big thing. There have been ICOs which lost almost everything, or they lost everything just because they did some stuff wrong with their smart contracts. And here comes another compliance with legal issues. You need to show how you're gonna have how you deal with the privacy policy, how you deal with know your customer and anti-money laundering. I mean, right now there are no, or there is not a lot of regulation about it. But in the future, you're gonna need to be ready for it, because you want to be a legit company, so you need to be compliant with today's moral and values. If you're voluntarily complying with legal issues, you have either it's good for you because you have a stamp of legitimacy, you reduce your long-term risk, and you get a larger global audience. So really work close with the regulator. And then you can set up your website and start to establish trust in the community. So you're going to explain the problem, what will you solve and how will you solve it, how does the token look like, who's the team and advisors, what is the roadmap of your development, when are the main steps. And then you also need to show your social media channels, and you need to be broad with your social media channels. And the other thing is you need to have, or what we see is that the ICOs start to have a login for their possible investors where they can upload their KYC documentations. And this is then again why you need to show what you're doing with the privacy policy. And just a short note, there are certain countries which we do not really recommend to do an ICO, for example China or India, Iran, you just don't want to do an ICO there. And you better exclude those people from contributing to your ICO because you don't want to have them as an investor as well. And I put also the United States on this list because SAC, which is the regulator, has really long arms. So if you're not compliant with them, they're gonna get you. And I'm Swiss, we know that they can really get tough. Yeah, the website, it's all about standing out of the crowd because there are many ICOs. And a lot of them have the same ideas. So you need to stand out with your team, with your ID, with your token economy, how you're going to deal with certain legal issues, and again, regulatory compliance. So, step 9, remember it's an idea. Marketing, marketing, marketing. It's all about it. You are measured by your activity. If you really go for an ICO, you need to be active. You need to show the community that you are active. Have a channel on Reddit and Bitcoin Talk, Slack and Telegram. And on GitHub, you should, if you have code, it's good to show the code. And allow enough time for the hype to happen. It takes time to evolve, to be a successful ICO. So the challenges are creating the hype and also attracting large investors. It's nice to have 10,000 small investors from the crowd, but you also need large investors in order to raise enough money for your product. And then there are security concerns. For your social profiles and communication channels, you really need to be aware of scammers. I had a friend, he was doing an ICO, and on Telegram he one day got a message from himself. So there was someone copying his picture, copying his name, and he tried to sell him his own token. He said, "Hey guy, I'm doing this ICO. You want to join me? It's really cool. here's the address to send your Ethereums. So those are the scams that it's real. So you really need to cover the social media channels. You need to go list them on your website so people know these are your trusted channels, and be sure that your passwords are safe. And then you're gonna do pre-sale, ICO. There are different steps you can do, but this is the first time you actually earn money. Remember that. Before, you might have some money from parents or an investor maybe, but this is the first time you earn money. So monitor your channels and websites. During the Telegram, I'm going to show it later, during the Telegram ICO, there were a couple of fraud websites released and found by and detected by Telegram, which just aimed at getting money from the ICO of Telegram. And the challenges are here, of course, protecting your funds. So you should have set up a multi-signature cold wallet storage so that none of your team is able to withdraw a loan. And you should organize the documents from your possible future or from your investors. And here are the scams. You have exit scams, you have scams of fake firms, etc. So really be aware of them. This is a big problem, and the regulator, they cannot do a lot against it because it's on the internet. So it's really difficult to catch them. And then step 11, the incorporation of the company or the foundation. It's the first time you're getting serious business done. So do the registration if you haven't been pre-registered, opening a bank account, rent an office, hire staff, and then you need to cash out. But this is really a tough cookie because you need to find a bank taking Ethereum or whatever, opening you a bank account to pay the bills. And the big banks, they won't allow you to do that. So you need to go to the smaller banks, which are maybe a bit more innovative. There are banks around to help you, to give you money for Ethereum, for example. But it's a challenge to find the banks and then to cash out. Because if you have a bigger team, it's easily that you spend 50,000 a month or a week, and you need to cash that out, and it's not easy to cash that out. And then the last step, it's the business development. To create a successful platform, you need to get partners involved. You need to get traffic on your platform to create the network effect. It's like the example before, I'm always using the LinkedIn example. If everybody uses LinkedIn, it's valuable to us, and if nobody uses LinkedIn, it's not valuable. So you really need to get traffic on your platform. And then for your investors, this is always a good thing. Do listings on exchanges so that your investors can start getting refunds. But the biggest challenge here is create the network effect. Now we've seen 12 steps for an ICO, and it's a long it's a long way to go. There are a lot of challenges to overcome, but at the end, is it really worth to do it? And I would say yes. Those are the numbers of the last year. So I just see. This is January, February, March, and April. So 7 billion was collected altogether in the last 4 months. And what I like to see is, you see that it's going down. For me, this is kind of the hype bubble. What really matters is the number of ICOs, and it's constant. So here is a huge hype bubble where a lot of people started investing in ICOs, and a lot of individual ICOs collected a huge amount of money. So with these words, I just want to say thank you for the invitation and have a nice day.